Okay, so boxes are the major highlight of Big Picture 8. Let's have a closer look at the concept of the box, this concept that determines the very architecture of the app and the way you use it. This is this very concept that lies behind the unprecedented flexibility in accommodating various management methodologies and frameworks, making Big Picture Enterprise truly adoptable and adjustable PPM applications. Let me try to give you a clear understanding of what flexibility I have in mind. This is what was possible in Big Picture before. Until very recently, you could only have programs, or in Big Picture 7, program boxes. First, there was just a flat list of those. Later, each program by default decomposed into PIs and into iterations, and each had to be created from scratch or cloned from an existing one. Programs were basically the only possibility that the clients had. So the effect was that the ability of a company to comply with the project management methodology that it chose to adopt was seriously constrained. But Big Picture 8 came to resolve this problem once and for all by exchanging the old programs with the new boxes. This may sound like a very small step in terms of terminology, but this is actually a giant leap for portfolio management. And look at this image here. This is how boxes bring unprecedented flexibility. The white elements here in the graph are actually Big Picture boxes. So what exactly is a box? A box is a container for a given undertaking or a defined portion of your undertakings. It is a container for a body of work. If you do not like the term container, you may think of boxes as bags for your issues, so you may think of them as spaces, or management spaces, which are universal, multifunctional, deeply customizable. These are spaces for your tasks, for the dependencies between your tasks, deliverables, resources, risks, as well as other smaller boxes. So look at how flexibly Big Picture can now adjust to the various approaches and mixes of approaches that your clients use. Imagine you're working with a client who has adopted a waterfall approach that organizes work into stages. The undertakings can be represented in Big Picture 8 by the big box that is named waterfall project. And each such project will by default decompose into stages, and these in turn will hold even smaller boxes inside them, and they will be called substages. And each of these boxes of different sizes will contain a portion of tasks to be completed under a specific project. And with a breakdown hierarchy view and a timeline view on hand, Big Picture will allow you to break a comprehensive project into smaller manageable pieces and will provide a time-based overview of the entire undertaking. But if your client is using a basic agile approach, their work will be organized into iterations for it to proceed iteratively and incrementally. And Big Picture 8 agile project is going to be a great fit for those companies or departments that employ iterative development practices of agile. But you may also need a hybrid approach, and a hybrid project box in Big Picture 8 will by default be broken down into a number of stages, which will again be further decomposed into iterations. And here is an example of a collapsible hierarchical structure of a hybrid project. Well, obviously, Big Picture 8 will also have something in store for the users of SAFe, a single, most frequently adopted scaling agile framework across the world. Big Picture 8 boxes include SAFe art or agile release train, program increments, as well as iterations. And any SAFe-based undertaking can be visualized neatly to give your clients great clarity and control and enable them to track status and progress. So here are the many possibilities that Big Picture 8 offers. Your client can choose a waterfall project, an agile or a hybrid project, or a SAFe program, but a pure classic approach or a pure agile approach are very rare in real life. Clearly, it's quite a hybrid world out there, and a single company may have very diverse needs and may want to blend a number of different approaches and frameworks, because in the end, this is the business outcome that matters and not the methodology that you stick with. Just to give you a hopefully relatable example, you may be working with a client who's in the construction business. It's a highly regulated industry. There are strict legal requirements. There are subcontracted services. There are deadlines that can't be missed. There are regulations to comply with. And also, the very nature of work will very often necessitate taking a step-by-step or stage-by-stage, phase-by-phase approach, where one thing needs to be completed for another to start. So such a company will very likely use a classic project management method. But at the same company, you may have a marketing department or a team of software developers who do not need to be constrained by the rather stiff rules of a classic framework. With BigPicture, they can plan their work very flexibly into agile sprints, because there's such a wide selection of different boxes to choose from. Because of this, you can now manage portfolios that consist of many different initiatives, and each of them can be conducted in a separate management methodology, and you can still keep the big picture inside. Last but not least, there is this main box, or the home box in BigPicture 8, the one that delivers what the very name of the app promises to deliver, for one never to lose sight of the big picture. The main box can be renamed to corporate portfolio, for instance, and it will report on the progress for the entire organization, providing a very clear executive level view. This is a complete list of big picture box types. These are available to the users of BigPicture Enterprise. There is no limit on the number of boxes that can be contained in the app. As for the capacity of the box, the system is currently being tested with 100,000 issues in a single box. And to allow even more flexibility, apart from a number of these preset box templates, with the enterprise extension to your big picture, you can create your own custom boxes to make sure that you have a perfect match for your business circumstances. So as you can see, big picture will allow your clients to have different boxes for different undertakings conducted by different teams at different departments. To sum it up nicely, I'd say that with BigPicture 8, it is finally doable for the PMO to combine agile, traditional, waterfall, hybrid projects into a single or many portfolios, as well as track progress for this whole universe. It is clearly a very universal tool that fits very well in any business landscape.